Well, hello, my friend. Welcome to another video. So today is all about pre-mixing our paints so that we can do all of the techniques, okay? Minus the bloom technique, because that one's just a totally different ball game, okay? We're going to concentrate on real, or I should say regular acrylic pouring techniques and all of your favorites that you love to do. Let me show you how to mix your paints one time, store them away so that you can have them for all of your favorite and fun techniques. Hello, my friends. Welcome to another video. If this is your first time here, thank you so very much for joining me. So what does the title of this video mean? How can you do so many different techniques with just one consistency of paint? Well, today I'm going to take you over all of that. I'm going to show you the difference in mixing, and then we're going to do some of the most popular regular acrylic pouring techniques. So let's get started. So when it comes to acrylic pouring consistency, there's four categories of it really where the consistency is concerned. You have the thickest consistency, which a technique like the bloom would fall under, and that's pretty much the only one that is achieved using that thick of a paint. Then you have the biggest category, where you have your ring pours, your straight pours, your dirty pours, your string pulls, your swipes. All of those techniques fall under the general acrylic pouring consistency, which again, I'm going to show you. Then you have a consistency on its own for the Dutch pour. And then there's another consistency for the pearl salt technique. So there's pretty much four consistencies in acrylic pouring that you have to concern yourself with. And a lot of people, when they first start off, that is really confusing for them, and it doesn't need to be. And I'm going to show you how today in this video. You can make one consistency of paint and achieve all of these techniques except for the bloom. Now, why do I say except for the bloom? The bloom technique, you're using house paints, not even acrylic paints. Well, you're using them to color your house paints with, but that's a category all on its own. I want to focus on everything other than the bloom technique in this video. So when doing an acrylic pour, you're using an acrylic paint, and a majority of the time everybody's using either a tube paint or kind of a fluid paint, we'll say. You know, the ones Deco Art, Craft Smart, Apple Barrel, Folk Art, Prizm Pour, my favorite. They come in a bottle and that you squeeze out and are kind of fluid, okay? Those are the two types of paint that people use when doing acrylic pouring. And you're going to mix these the same exact way. The only thing that differs is one is going to take more water than the other. Something that's in a tube that has more body to it will need more water than something like one of these. So if you want to be able to mix your paints to be able to do all the pouring techniques, and you're not just a person that wants to do a Dutch pour, a Dutch pour, a Dutch pour. You want to be able to do a Dutch pour today, a ring pour tomorrow. I'm going to show you how to mix your paints that way so that you can easily adjust them according to whichever technique you're doing that day, if that makes sense. So what I've done here is I've pulled out 6 Holbein paints. Their majority of them are blue. Well, I have a blue, compost blue, phthalo turquoise, pearl blue, pearl sparkle, shadow green, and ultramarine deep. All right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you would mix a medium body style paint. Now this would be the same as like a Liquitex, Arteza, Blick brand, all of those. It's just that it's a better quality. There's more pigment and therefore you don't need to use as much. All right, so I always use these Dixie cups to demonstrate mixing in. If you're going to use a bigger container, you're going to need, more paint, obviously. But for a Dixie cup, I always use about a grape size amount of paint. If you can see that there. All right. And then for something like a fluid paint, a Prizm pour, which these are the 12 new metallics. They are absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to show them to you quick. I cover the bottom. That's about it. So you can see the difference. All right. And most of that is because, this is just a thinner paint and it spreads out more than this does. But you see that? So that's how much I would use. Now, when it comes to FLOETROL or whatever pouring medium you're using, the amount that you use in these paints does not matter. If you put in a teaspoon of American FLOETROL or a quart of it, you're not going to get any different effects. You're just going to thin the paint more. And the more of this you use, especially with something like a metallic or a sparkling paint, the more you're going to dull out the color. So, with that being said, what I do in this case where I have a regular tube paint and a sparkly color, I'll show you the difference. This way, I'm not going to lose my shine in my metallic. See how little I have in there? This one has a lot of pigment in it. So therefore I can use a little more FLOETROL and not worry about losing the color. And the whole point here is to thin your paints down with the least amount of water, because water at some point will break down your binders in your paint. So the goal is to somehow get these paints thin enough to pour without insulting them with all of these products. So we give this a mix. If you're using a tube paint, no matter the brand, this may be a little too thick, but we're going to check it first. That's another thing that you have to have knowledge of. Different paint brands and even different colors in the same paint line have different thicknesses to them. So, where I can mix up this color, not need to add water, I can take another one of those Holbein paints, mix them up, and it can need water. So that all, plays a role too. So that's a little bit too thick. And what I will do is start off adding up a little tiny bit of water. Just the cap from a water bottle, okay? Just a little tiny bit. Spill it all over the table first, though. Spilling it on the table is a must, or else your painting will not turn out right. So give that a good mix. And here we go. That is what you're looking for to do a majority of acrylic pouring techniques. All the techniques out there besides those other three I mentioned, the Dutch pour, the pearl cell technique, and the bloom. Okay, this consistency right here will do every technique out there. ring pours, swipes, string pulls, flip your mama upside down and smack her ass pour. I mean, there's so many names out there now, but it's all it's all just acrylic pouring in the end. But anyway, that's the consistency you want your paints to be when you store them, if you are somebody like me that does more than one technique. Now, one thing when it comes to metallics, they can be tricky because when you add water to them, they feel fluffier than your other colors. So you have to be careful. When it comes to a metallic, see, when I feel my paints, I go like this with a stick and I know what that right consistency is. I, flow it off the stick, watch the mound and all that. When it comes to metallics, you can't really use the feel like this to tell if they're thin enough because, like I said, they're fluffier. So what you want to do is look at the stream on these. So this needs a little tiny bit of water because it's a little too thick still. Even though it will flow off the stick, it is much thicker than the other one. And you can tell by just looking at it flowing off the stick that it's a much slower flow. Okay, so we need to add some water to that. 1 capful again. Give it a mix, and then we'll test it out. Much better. See, it's flowing off this stick, just like the other one was at a faster speed. It's leaving a mound. But if you were to compare these two, this one here actually feels thicker in the cup than this one. This one feels more light and airy, fluffy, if that makes sense. Okay? But that's how you would mix your paints. Now, you can mix all of your paints like this, put them in bottles, and now you have all your colors mixed up, and you come home and you say, I want to do a Dutch pour today. My paints are too thick. What do? All you would have to do is take your squeeze bottle that you have, and you know what? I will demonstrate this on my white paint. So here's a big bucket of white paint that I had pre-mixed for all acrylic pouring techniques, okay? What I would do if I wanted to do a Dutch pour today is, now obviously I would need more white than a little cup, but let's pretend this is just any other color, okay? I would pour some of this into a cup from my squeeze bottle or wherever I have it stored, and I would just add some water to it, okay? That way this paint here can still be used for things like string pulls, swipes, blah, blah, blah. But today I want to do a Dutch pour, so I'm going to go ahead and add a little cap of water to my white. Again, I'm going to repeat myself a lot here. Depending on the brand and the color, you may need more or less water. I would mix it up. Maybe another little half a cap of water. If you need to know what the right consistencies are for each acrylic pouring technique, I have a chart and a video that shows you how to test your paints to make sure they're the right thickness. That's in the description of this video. And just so you know, I'm going to be teaching this not only in Florida in July, but also in Texas in August. So if you're interested in the July class, there are a few openings. We had a couple of cancellations come in. So there are a few openings for the Naples, Florida class with myself and Kanella Ciraco. If you're interested in doing this hands-on, you have that option, or just myself in Texas for an all-day class, A to Z on acrylic pouring. Okay, we're going to be doing a couple of techniques and also the bloom technique. So, you know, I added the water here, a cup and a half, and now I have paints to do my Dutch pour, and I don't have to stick to just that one technique because I have this bucket here reserved that will do all of my other techniques, my swipes, my flip and spins, my Tammy does a boob roll through the canvas and creates a masterpiece technique. My famous nip dip. Yes, that is a thing. I have a painting where we'll just say the ladies got in the way. So anyway, that's how you make one batch of paint to cover all the techniques. So first of all, after you mix your paints and you got them all right, you got to store them somehow. I just want to give you a couple of suggestions of what I use. I save these from when we get Chinese takeout. Soups come in them. Wash them. Save the lids for them. They make excellent containers for paints. Also, I will save my drink cups from fast food, containers from, you know, your products. With the cups, what I'll do is I'll put a rubber glove over it, and that usually seals it in good. Or you can save the lid for the cup, put it on the lid, and then just tape around the lid and the X where the straw goes through. Make a nice airtight seal. They'll last a long time in there. Of course, you can go through my link for Lolly and get the bottles with a discount. Same thing for these. Save the lids, pop them on, and use some tape around the rim to just make it airtight. Your paints will last a very long time. I've had paints 6 months old that are still fine. So that's how you're going to want to store them. Or, of course, you can go onto a restaurant supply store and get these containers here. Those work good too, but that's how you're going to want to store them after you pre-mix them so that when you go to do your acrylic pour, you have your paints all ready to go and you can just get out some little dipsy. The only thing dipsy in this room is me. Little Dixie cups and pour a little bit out of each color. And, you know, if you want to do a Dutch pour and make it a little bit thinner, just add a little bit of water to that paint, okay? Alrighty, so what do you say we do a few of these techniques all on one canvas? I mean, I got some string here, I got a funnel, I got my hands. We'll just go with the flow here and yada, yada, yada. What do you say we just pour it like that, just like that. And then what do you say we take some pearl white, or not pearl white, this is, oh, I'm drawing a blank. Abalone shell Prizm pour. What do you say we just kind of put that on there like that? And then what do you say we take some pearl blue and do the same dang thing? Just like so, right? And then what we'll do is we'll take a funnel or a canning funnel and we're going to plop her right here. Bloop. And we're going to take some of these blues and this shadow green that I mixed up and this true silver Prizm pour. The other ones are Hold Mine. And we'll just start kind of pouring them in to the funnel, a little bit at a time, from a pie so they mix together. like so, like so. Yes, yes, like so. All right. So very simple, just a couple of blues and a silver and a green. So then we have that, and we zhuzh it all around the canvas like that to this side. And we lift. Now from this side, what do you say we do a puddle pour? Which is essentially just putting some colors on top of each other. Then take my stick and kind of break it apart like so. Work it in with that one. All right. So far, so good. Then, what do you say we take a cup like this that has some paint in it, and we make ourselves a dirty pour, which is just combining the colors together in the cup and pouring them out. Traveling ring pour with our dirty pour. Now, obviously, I'm doing this a lot faster, and I'm not really taking my time with each technique. This is just a demonstration. For you. Okay? Then, what do you say we take our string, we will dip it into some of this blue here. Pull. See, I'm just dipping it in the bucket here. Taking it out. Okay, that's typically how it's done. And then we pull, and it creates a pretty design, like flowers almost. Okay, but we'll save the string pull until after I tilt here. Let's tilt this around a bit first. So you're going to kind of look at your design here and figure out what you want to do. I know that I'd much rather keep this pretty area here. So I'm going to tilt down this way first, nice and slow. Okay. Don't worry about corners. If you have a beautiful design that you like, and you have one little corner over there and you're going to lose it, you're going to lose your design if you try to stretch to that corner, leave it and just add some paint there, okay? We come back this way. Maybe down this way a bit. And then we fast tilt. That's called a super tilt right there. All right, and now you want to take a break and look at your image here and figure out where in the heck it's going. Sadly, this part of the process is unteachable. You yourself have to learn how to create the composition by just experimenting and a lot of practice. Everyone tilts their own way. And now this is just me playing around with my string again, trying to alter the design. See, I'm just using the string here to pull some of this color out. Just like that. And here's a few little ring pores I decided to add in. It's just a plop, 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 plop. Watch what a cool design that creates. Right there. This too. So now I'm going to tilt it around one more time, and then I'm going to give you a close-up and show you those beautiful, amazingly delicious new Prizm pour colors. All right, perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. That's a good old-fashioned acrylic pour, my friends. Right there. That's good old-fashioned acrylic pouring at its finest. And then what you do, since your table's clean, well, if your table's clean like mine, you take a piece of plastic or some kind of a pan or something. Look, I even got my hands dirty today. That was fun. And you scoop up this leftover paint, put it in a bucket. You'll end up with a beautiful custom color that nobody sells. So, you know, you're not wasting. Look at, you know, from just plopping that paint on the cup, look at all the dimension you can get. And it's pretty cool looking, man. I think it is. It's what made me fall in love with acrylic pouring. This kind here, just free. Just plop it on the canvas and see what kind of cool designs you can get. You know, this is very earth, spacey looking. You know, and you can embellish it after it's dry and yada, yada, yada. I'd let it dry about, you know, a couple weeks and then resin or varnish it, whichever you prefer. Always, when you do an acrylic pour like this, look in it for some funny shapes because they're bound to pop up here and there. I'm not seeing anything right now, but they're hidden in there. So, my friends, thank you for joining me today. Again, I hate to repeat myself, but in case of those that fast forward did not hear it, July in Naples, Florida, Kanella Ciraco and myself will be teaching a class. There are a few spots open back up. We were sold out, but now we had a couple of cancellations. So if you're interested in that class in July, the information is in the description. And then myself for a full day in Dallas, Texas of learning just like this. So check out the description. Everything you need from this video is down in there. I love you all. Doesn't that look like a little bit of a dog face or something sticking out? Am I seeing things? Like that's the nose and the mouth, like the puffy cheeks. Here. There we go. And now it's a dog. I love you all. Thank you for joining me. And until the next time, happy pouring. So there they all are. The brand new metallics in Prizm Pour Whoa, hold on to your panties and your jocks. Because when I show you these colors, whoo, you're going to be clutching your pearls. So all metallic colors, you can buy them separately. You can buy them as a set and get this beautiful opalite color, which is the most gorgeous gunmetal gray with rainbow. That's right, rainbow sparkle. Look at that. That is going to be a hit in my mixed media pieces. I know that. And these are just like your acrylic paints. Mix them the same way as I do in this video, okay? So let me show you these really quick. So there are 2 sets. Each set comes with 6 colors. Sets come with a free bottle of opalite, which you will see. There's the Sunken Treasures, and then there's the Pirate's Bounty. As I said, each set has a free bottle of opalite, and you can buy these colors individually if you're not interested in a set. However, you save a bit of money purchasing all of them, as always, and my discount always helps. Look at this scarab beetle. Is that not fantastic? So yeah, they're all the metallics, you know, a few different shades of golds and coppers, some really beautiful burgundy red or Bordeaux red. There was one there. So you can see all the colors on Colourarte.com. Look at this beautiful butterscotch color. I cannot wait to dive into these and do nothing but a metallic painting. I'm a little behind because of going away on vacation and school ending and all that, but here is opalite, one of my favorite colors, so very unique. Check out the information in the description below.